is good? It's your boy Sam back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be going over each and every one of the best players for every specific price in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM. Now, not going to be talking about a max. Like, if you want to spend a max on a player and guarantee it, it's probably, I don't know, Wemby or maybe like a Pink Diamond Kobe at this stage. But I'm not going to talk about them because, I mean, I just don't think they're worth it at this stage. And recently, we haven't really seen any. So, every one of these cards I'm going to be talking about today is in the player market. So, just something to think about. First price we got is for 5,000 MT. Now, for that, I got to search by Amethyst for 5,000 MT to just kind of get some of our better options or best options. And guess what? There's no Amethyst. So then you got to search by Rubies and maybe even Sapphires. Now, for Rubies, Pat Bev is a decent option. But then I see some really solid ones from the Tis the Season set. Do you remember the Franz Wagner as well as Jalen Suggs duo? I don't know if you remember that. I certainly do. Franz Wagner, very good for his specific price, especially if you give him the duo with Jalen Suggs. Those are the two guys I recommend the most for a combined 6,000 MT. Even if you got the game today, if you worked your way to 6,000 MT and you pick up Jalen Suggs, Ruby, as well as Franz Wagner, and you run them together, you got a really good and cheap duo. The other one I suggest here, Brandon Miller. 3,000 MT, 89 3-ball, 88 speed, solid enough defense. You run and I don't even know about triple threat because then you really don't have a big, but if you run your 1 through 3 positions with Franz, Brandon Miller, and then Jalen Suggs at the point guard, you're starting your squad off really, really solid. Next up, guys, 10,000 MT. I'm plugging in the Amethyst Leonard Miller. For 10,000 MT, I think he is by far and away the best value there. Again, you guys can have maybe your own guy for 10,000 MT that you really like, but he's got an 85 3-ball, 88 speed, really solid defense, really good Rui Hachimura base, just a very good all-around small forward in my team. I mean, is he going to be game-breaking good? No, but he can do a little bit of everything, decent hot spots as well. There's just really no flaws in Leonard Miller. 6'10", decent release, solid defensively, and just can do a lot of things at a high level. And for 10,000 MT, a really cheap option. Next up, guys, 20,000 MT. Starting off with Amethyst Peyton Watson. If you know anything about my YouTube channel and my No Money Spent Squad series, you know I love Peyton Watson. Defends at a high level, knocks down shots with the release on quick MJ dribble style, dunks the ball really well as, and for me, just think overall as a card, Peyton Watson is really solid. 17,000 MT, yes, more expensive than a guy like Leonard Miller, but for Peyton Watson, I think he is well worth that 17,000 MT. Sticking with the under 20,000 price range, another point guard here, this one being Anthony Black, 17,000 MT, long, lengthy, 6'7", has a decent release, gonna play solid enough defense because he is 6'7". Just another guy I do want to plug in here for 17,000 MT that just gives you another budget option for less than 20,000 MT. Next up, guys, 35,000 MT. We're going to start with Diamond Drew Holiday. I still think he's one of the better point guards in our entire game. And it's crazy to say considering he came out on December 15th. But if you're not talking about the gambling cards, I like Drew nearly as much as anything. Great lateral quickness, great defense, great release. It being on quick, can standing dunk, just does a lot of things at a really high level. I don't think people really respect Drew Holiday as much as they should. You know, I've used this card I have used him in the past, used him for quite some time and was a really big fan of him. And now he's super cheap, 36,000 MT. I think it's tough to beat Drew Holiday. Sticking with that 35,000 price range, we're plugging in Diamond David Robinson, 85 at 3-ball, 87 speed, really solid defensively. You need a center to go out there and compete with the top dogs. Diamond David Robinson can absolutely do it. Absolutely do it at a really high level. Now, obviously, there's some decent, cheaper, maybe even some free options out there at the power forward center position. But D-Rob, obviously, 7'1", good length, good versatility. Definitely a guy that I will sit here and hype up for us. Next up, guys, 50,000 MT. I don't really love anybody for this price range, but I want to talk about the Diamond Paul George here. Because if you do want to spend this amount of MT, this is the guy I recommend. Still, versatility-wise, guys, Paul George is going to do it for you. 6'8", shooting guard, Good release. Again, has everything you basically need. Obviously, the pink diamond Paul George is going to be better than the diamond Paul George. I'm not going to sit here and try to debate that. But diamond Paul George for 50,000 MT, I still think is a decent enough value if you are wanting to spend that much on him. I just suggest going and getting Peyton Watson instead, who I think is nearly just as good. But for 50,000 MT, give me PG-13. 75,000 MT, I'm plugging in Willis Reed. I know he's 79,000 MT, so maybe a little more expensive, but same type of price range. Now, the thing about Willis Reed is this. The card was free. So, I mean, if you got Willis Reed for free, I would absolutely use him. 83 3 ball, 89 speed, great defense, one of the best big man releases in the entire game. Another card that I think people aren't going to give enough credit to is Willis Reed. I think, his versatility on the court, whether you want to play him at power forward or center, is fine. Again, his 3 ball is only an 83, but it feels way higher because his release is absolutely outstanding. And just a free card that obviously now if you want to spend 75,000 MT on, that I really do like. Other guy I want to plug in here for 75,000 MT, Diamond Kwame Brown. Now for Kwame Brown, a little different here. Obviously, maybe a little longer than Willis Reed. The best part about Kwame is the Kobe Bryant base on Clique. I mean, that's really, if you're running Kwame Brown, the reason you're running him. I tried using Kwame, struggled a little bit with that release, but I guarantee if I would have ran the card long enough, I would have gotten it down to a science. But those are the cards for 75,000 MT that I do recommend. The 2 cards I recommend for, not this card, for the same price. 105, under 100,000 MT, basically 105, same thing. Luka Doncic as well as Klay Thompson. These are the 2 cards that I would recommend for if you had 100,000 MT. Why? They both are going to do very solid things. Luka, going to play good defense, offensively give you enough. Klay, 6'6", can dunk the ball, good, obviously, shooting the ball. Just going to do really solid things for you guys on the court. Obviously, Klay Thompson, I used him for a while. Again, knocked down in the catch and shoot situation, decent speed, really solid defensively. And then Luka Doncic just gives you size at that point guard position, which I do think is important. Release-wise, obviously, still going to be that little bit slow. Pro dribble style, not the best. The reason you're going to run Luka Doncic is for his defense, not for his offense. So just kind of keep that in the back of your minds. Those are the guys I suggest for 100,000 MT. Under 150,000 MT, here's where we can get a little bit better. Pink Diamond Franz Wagner, 94 3 ball, 92 speed, 93 lateral quickness. I'm not the only one that thinks Franz Wagner is good. I was scrolling through my timeline today and I saw somebody post Franz and say this card might be the best shooting guard in the entire game. So you guys can't just sit up there and say, oh my gosh, Ty, stop gassing Franz. Nobody else likes the card. Obviously, other people do. Hype Franz up. He is that man in my team. Another card I want to talk about for under 150,000 MT, Big Wang. Closer, honestly, to 100,000 MT. If you are needing a center for not super expensive, I do recommend Big Wang. Hall of Fame range, brick wall, post lockdown on Hall of Fame as well. Hot spots from everywhere. He's kind of a training wheels type of center to use. I don't love his defense. I think it's fine. I don't love it. But he's obviously 7'1", wide player build, great release. The other guy I want to plug in here, Andre Blatch. Another card, 100 and basically, again, closer to 100,000 MT. To me, Andre Blatch, a mini Giannis, can do everything well on the court. Release-wise, I don't think it's necessarily the quickest, but if you have the space, the separation should be able to green with that Isaiah Stewart release. And again, just defensively with that player model, player build, going to compete at a really high level. Next up, under 200,000 MT, I got 3 guys to plug in here. First one, Pink Diamond Paul George, one of my favorite shooting guards in the entire game. One of the best things about Paul George and a lot of these cards in this video is you don't have to gamble for him and you don't have to lock them in. Like Paul George, when I do get tired of running him, I'll be able to go through and sell him back for whatever MT he gets at that stage. And I like that. Next card I want to plug in here for under 200,000 MT, Pink Diamond Devin Booker, same price as Paul George. Offensively, one of the best point guards in the entire game. Throw him right in there with James Harden. Throw him right in there with Austin Reeves as being some of those best offensive point guards in the entire game. Last but certainly not least, for this price range, we're plugging in Pink Diamond Anthony Davis. I think, yes, Bam's up there, but I think for what I want out of the power forward center position, Anthony Davis has to be included here. That Hall of Fame immovable enforcer is just such an important badge. I don't think it gets talked about enough. You either have immovable or you don't have it. Anthony Davis has it on Hall of Fame, which I do think is important. Do wish his release was a little bit quicker, but that is a-okay. Last player here for over 200,000 MT, Kristaps Porzingis Pink Diamond. Obviously, I'm not talking about locking in a set. I'm talking about player market specific. This is the card I recommend if you do want to spend over 200,000 MT. 7-3, such a smooth release offensively. Probably the best big man we have in the entire game. And that's even including some of the gambling cards. I think KP offensively is so overpowered, so good. Is pretty expensive still, so I don't know if I recommend him, but definitely a card for that price. If you want to spend up, I would obviously get. Obviously, again, in this video, I didn't include free cards, didn't include gambling cards. So Austin Reeves, obviously really good. James Harden, really good. MosBallin, really good. Recommend getting those free cards, running them before you do anything else. That's going to wrap it up for our video today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.